So most people did really well during the first lockdown, and the fact they got through it at all is amazing. But some people, of course, didn't. Their whole thing fell apart. They took to drink. Some of them got very depressed. Some people even took their own life. We know that many marriages broke up, and people's lives fell apart. Jesus said that if you don't build your life on what I'm saying, then it's like building your life on sand. And when the storms come and the difficulties arrive, which they surely will, then your house won't stand. But if you build your life on what I say, on the rock, then your house will stand. So I thought it would be really helpful to have a look at some of the things Jesus said about the character of the person who's building their life on a rock. And he starts the sermon, the house on the rock is the end of the talk of the Sermon on the Mount. He starts the sermon with the Beatitudes, the blessings. Blessed are the poor in heart. And blessed are the poor in spirit. Pure in heart comes later. Blessed are the poor in spirit. And I think when we look at these Beatitudes, what we're looking for is a kingdom. We're looking to see God's kingdom of righteousness and justice, of good news for the poor. We're looking to see God's kingdom of demons fleeing, of the kingdom of God established. And Jesus says that the poor in spirit find the kingdom of heaven. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. It's those who are dependent on God, those who aren't arrogant and rude, those who aren't proud and boastful, those who aren't relying on their wealth or their status. It's not people who are shouting. It's the poor in spirit, those who are dependent, humble, those who act justly, love mercy, walk humbly before their God. Those are the ones that see the kingdom of heaven, and those are the ones who Jesus says will be building their life on a rock. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, says Jesus, and all these things will be added unto you. If we're focusing on the kingdom of God with a dependence and a humility, then we'll get through this. If we want to see what God is doing in the world as he's building his kingdom, we'll get through this. We'll stand in the storm. It says, blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. And of course, there's a lot to mourn about, isn't there, at the moment? There's a lot to lament. But Jesus says, blessed are you when you see the injustices, when you see the glass ceilings, when you're sorrowful over the state of the world as it is and over the state of your own heart, because when you see that, then you're not far from the kingdom of heaven and your life will stand. So don't be frightened of lamenting, of mourning, particularly other people's injustice, particularly other people's sorrow and other people's loss. Blessed are the meek. What we do is use our power, our strength in a humble way. Meekness is power under control. Meekness is strength to lift others up. Meekness is looking after the interests of others and using our position, our authority, our wisdom, our strength to bless other people. And Jesus says, blessed are the meek, because they're the ones who are going to inherit the earth. Jesus says if you put these things into practice, you'll stand. He said, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, because they will be filled. Righteousness in our own lives, a holiness, a purity in our own lives, but also a justice in society and a righteousness for those who are downtrodden. Blessed are those who are merciful, for they'll be shown mercy. As we are kind, as we are generous, as we let people off, as we cover their back, as we have an attitude that looks out for the other and brings grace, then we're building a life that will last through the storm. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. I love the idea that this is seeing God move, seeing God in action. The pure in heart are the ones that will be able to pray and seek and mourn and use their power under control, and they will see God build his kingdom. They will see God build his church. They'll see God at work in people's lives. They'll see God raising up people. Blessed are the pure in heart. They will see God. And then blessed are the peacemakers, because that's when we get to be co-workers with God, who is the great peacemaker, reconciling the world to himself, reconciling all things to Christ. And because when we do that, then we're called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness. You know, this isn't easy. People will criticize us. People will say that we're barking up the wrong tree, seeking after the wrong stuff. People will take advantage of us. People will openly persecute us if we live like this. But Jesus says, theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Let's seek first the kingdom. Let's build our lives around things that are going to last through this pandemic. Let's see God bring his kingdom through us as we model these beatitudes and live more and more like Jesus. Thanks very much for being part of all this. I hope you have a great discussion around this and how this strengthens us, enables us to build a life that's built on a rock. See you in a bit. Bye-bye.